This is going to be a video where it's basically like, do you like, I say arena. Do you like arena? You're gonna love this. So it's been a while and a day, but I think that my pattern has been doing a video every 2 months. So knock, 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 knock. The 2 months are coming. Hey, I have a mic. Isn't that awesome? And we're also coming from live in my bedroom. Sensational and fantastic. The sun is out, which is a really nice break from it being cold and gray all the time. But I thought it would be really nice kind of to do a summary of my own year in research and researching, I guess, since this is kind of like the one of the manifestos. In the manifesto of this channel is to be talking about research and investigating it and everything. But I also thought it would be kind of fun and cool to do like a spin on it. So sharing gifts and cool things to the broader archival intrigued world here online. So I kind of wanted to, one, share the gifts that I kind of got for myself that have to do with my own personal interest, but also kind of create a gift guide of sorts. So think about this video as a happy vlogmas, but not really, more like merry hello gift guide / celebratory things that you can buy for yourself. And as a burgeoning researcher, this will be the genre dedicated to general web intrigue. What does general web intrigue mean in the context of what I've just spoken about? So I think that it can be a really hard place to dive into for a research interest. I have a couple of books that I have gotten this year, and then I'll be sharing some fun resources and things that I think that might be really fun and nice, that might be cool. Let's do that then. I won't lie to you, the conceit of this video might be a little ham-fisted for the holiday theme, but I promise it makes sense. So the first thing I wanted to introduce was this lovely little number that I got in the mail. The Internet Phone Book, Issue 1, 2025, a directory for exploring the vast poetic web. Now, I got my hands on this. I think it was the first or second release. I think it was the second release because I don't think I got the first release. And it's this amazing book. There's this thing that happens sometimes where you have these sort of like artistic research books or kind of books in the art and digital space that are investigating themselves or whatever. And they end up tripping over their love of nostalgia and desire to bring the internet into this 90s framework that ends up being really, like I just said, ham-fisted. It ends up being a little bit ham-fisted. This, on the other hand, I think is really, really an exemplary example of how you can do these things and it be actually really nice. So the Internet Phone Book contains a literal phone book. It's like a directory of the different URLs and sites that you can go visit. They have their own categories from niche to like businesses, but I think it's a really good look into hypertextuality, which this does get mentioned. And I think probably this video would count as books you can get for people who want to dive into the internet and internet research, aka hypertextuality, because it's so interesting to have a printed HTML on paper and that be your phone book to go through. It is also really interesting because you have to type it in anymore. So many of us have phones that have the capability of scanning the text, like reading it immediately and identifying it and giving you the option to click and actually go to it. So I think that it is really interesting to think about something like an internet phone book, because a phone book is something that you would have used like a Yellow Pages so that you can contact any slew of business owners, women and men of the night, day, mid-afternoon, who were rounded about for a chitty chat of anything that you really desired. Look at restaurants, look up schools, look up anything. Look up anything. It was a directory that ended up cataloging what your city looked like, what your town looked like, what your city looked like, what your state looked like. A phone book within itself is something that has a far-reaching definition of putting us from our homes into a heightened state of awareness of everything that is around us and all of the things that we have access to. And do not even look at, do not care to look at, have, like, we don't care, right? Already, the ready-made of a phone book is incredibly interesting, dialectically incredibly interesting. Looking at it from an anthropologic point of view, very, very interesting. But then you bring in the internet to it, which is itself a wide, wide web, of course, www. And you used to have web rings on your angel fires. You used to have so many ways to go from groups to groups to groups and extend your reach far and beyond what you knew possible. And yet we would still find ourselves sticking to like little niches, right? I think something about this book is so cool of distilling that energy to a book that is chock full of funny little references to the kinds of like ads that you used to be able to get in Yellow Pages. It mimics that exploratory feel. I don't even think it mimics it, it emulates it. It is giving it to you. And I think it's really cool. So I highly recommend looking at the Internet Phone Book. This is going to be a video where it's basically like, I say Arena. Do you like Arena? You're gonna love this. Let's just continue on that theme then. If you are someone or you have someone who is interested in the experience of hypertextuality, looking into digital research, especially digital research as it pertains to archiving and looking at the web, and who maybe likes art, I would highly recommend, ooh, she kind of beautiful, bam! The Cyber Feminism Index by Mindy Sue. This is one of the best things that my aunt, shout out to you, Auntie Cici, ever got me. I feel like there's a lot of talk about this book as kind of like the lead up to it. I had been trying to, I missed the big release of it. I've been trying to get my hands on it for ages. I saw it in a museum one time, didn't pick it up because I had too many things in my hands and I was with my friends. And I was like, I want to be able to read this in my own piece. So I missed it. After that, I couldn't find it anywhere. The three big parts of the book are the written pieces by some of the collaborators, artists, activists that Mindy reached out to. The other part is 703 entries of like artworks across 1991 to 2020. And then after that is an index of all of those people. And then you also have images in this book. I love a book with pictures. I think the thing that we fail to do sometimes is to realize that in our usage of Arial and Helvetica with justified text like bodies and pictures everywhere, is that the flow of information can sometimes be really discordant. And Mindy also did something with this with some other guy that I was so interested in. It was like a residency / proposal thing. I entered it and didn't get it, neither here nor there. Cyber Feminism Index. Love. Whoever is watching this video, or whoever you're watching this video for, I think you love it too. Now we have another Mindy banger. A Sexual History of the Internet. A Sexual History of the Internet. What does that mean? I'm going to read the back verbatim because I thought it was really interesting. I just love this book. This book is a history. It gathers anecdotes, artworks, and historical artifacts that reveal the pervasive and perverted origins of our digital tools. This book is a script. It documents the sexual history of the internet, a participatory lecture performance told through the audience's phones. This book is an experiment. When you buy this book, profit will be redistributed to every person cited within, a new model of attribution. So I got this through something I'm going to talk about in a second. It has this like really soft silver text, but it has like a powder dusting to it. It reminds me of silver gelatin print. Investigating the ways in which the internet and sexuality have gone hand in hand with each other. Here's a really good quote. Some histories benefit from these structures of exclusivity and authority. These methods of citations are useful in many ways, but they also uphold certain points of view. Which histories thrive in ephemerality from primary sources, oral histories, and whispered networks? In the Cancer Journals, Audre Lorde wrote, and yes, I am completely self-referenced right now because it is the only translation I can trust. I want to cite those without a textual record as well. For anyone who wants to get started writing about research, looking into how they can start thinking of ways to discuss it, I would highly recommend. This is something that is not really something I got this year. I know I said that, but I lied. But it's something I've been looking at a lot this year. Boom. A writer's reference. This is the 5th edition by Diana Hacker. It literally does not matter what this book is. What I'm trying to say to you is that you should get a book for collegiate. You should get a university level book that is dedicated to teaching you how to write and construct research. Now, I do have some books that I want to get into and some resources I want to get into, thinking about what that means to write like a researcher, to write like a writer, and things like that. But I do think it is decent to have a reference guide on you. I got this as a hand-me-down from my aunt. She used it for her college course, and I've had it for years, and I still find it an incredibly useful thing. That is the end of the physical things that I have to show you for now. However, I do want to go into some of the digital things that I want to talk about. So I have really been loving this site called Metalabel. I want to say this out loud. I used to be someone who used to be on top of everything. I've lagged so far behind when it comes to keeping up to date with what's going on in the big wide web, right? Maybe everyone knows about this. I don't. I didn't. Is a digital distribution center of physical goods, experimental goods, and sometimes digital ones as well. And I think it really is important to support these smaller brands that are trying their best to find new experimental ways of not only allowing people to publish their work, but to not have to have 7 different publishing houses and 15 different books, decades worth of PhD research behind them to be able to publish something. I think this is something that requires its own video because I think it's really important to highlight the fact that pedagogies are something that are incredibly pervasive and detrimental to our overall creativity. Why does someone have to have a PhD, a master's, have been in 10 different exhibitions in major cities, mind you? They have to have at least had one in New York to be able to publish work and be taken seriously. Why does research have to be completely suffused with the stink of academia all the time? Mind you, I'm an academia girl. Mind you, I think that a lot of the structures of school did a really good job for me. Now, is that because I am someone who needs structure? Potentially, yes. So I thought it was really nice to find something that not only was publishing things by artists and creators that I really like, someone that has been supported by these artists and creators as, you know, a label that is doing something for good, but also that has cool stuff. I kind of see it as a much better Bandcamp, but a better Bandcamp for experimental media as well as physical goods. If you're someone who likes to collect things as well as purchase things from like one place that has really good suggestions, if you're someone that like kind of likes to go to, you know, a trusted bookstore and kind of grab something that you see, like a magazine, something like that, I really recommend it. Currently working on revamping a website that I want to build like with my bare hands, as well as a project website that I really want to do. And I think I'll include it as one of the things in my repository or resources or something like that, because it's well sick, as they say. I have picked up 2 of these issues. Digital Frontier. This one is issue 3, Our Future Decoded. I'm not gonna lie, it got me because of the cover design initially. Look at the inside. Isn't that darling? But also peekaboo. Now, I will say this magazine does do a lot of AI for good investigatory essays and kind of thought pieces. Not too much on that personally. However, it is interesting to hear what other people think about AI as a resource and it being used within the digital space as an experimental artistic tool. I am very much someone who teeters on the line of AI art. I used to really like people who did stuff with big GANs. One of my favorite artists who did something like that was, I think her name was Helena Sakharin. Local language models and data parsing being used within your art and experimental practices is interesting. Issue specifically was super cool. I definitely think personifies rabbit holes. They have an essay that I'm looking at right here about Kate Yup, the mukbanger. Do you remember Kate Yup? I remember so much controversy around her and her kind of disappearance and what was going on with her. Here's the thing about Digital Frontier. It can go tech bro-y venture capital, but it can also go grassroots guerrilla experimentation, community building and community seeding. I'd recommend looking at some of their issues and maybe picking one up or getting a digital subscription. I think they have a kind of subscription model that includes getting a digital one, digital and physical ones, or just a physical one. I'm not sure. I picked this up from one of the bookstores in the social part of town that I live in. Not that I live in, that I go to. I picked it up from this. I want to clarify that I don't live in the social part of town. But yeah, I kind of wanted to just make that little video of things that I have gotten that I think would be really, really great gifts to someone who would be interested in receiving gifts such as those, and talk about some of the cool resources that I've found throughout the year that have reignited my spark, have made me feel very, very intrigued in doing things again, and I can provide little updates. Now that the gift guide and gift review portion is over, let's go over how we're feeling. How's it going? I have so many things that I am planning on doing cooking wise. I really, really want to lean into the festive spirit and produce a variety of canapes and finger foods and big meals for people to enjoy. I got invited to a Christmas party, which is super exciting. Have I ever been to a Christmas party before? Yeah, I don't think so. So this is going to be my first one, which is really cool. There are a couple of cool gigs that I'm going to try to have the energy to go to. Energy. That's another big thing. Who has the energy anymore? Tired. But you have to keep going, and I certainly am. I'm certainly trying my best. What have I been doing in my neck of the woods? Hopefully I can make like a year in review video. I currently have a couple of projects that are in my pipeline, including making YouTube videos. So I hope that I hold myself to a high standard and I do make something. Hopefully I can get 3 videos out. Oh my god, guys. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Ah, Christmas gift to myself and to the people who have followed me. Also, I want to celebrate the fact that I have over 50 people on his channel. I feel so enriched. Oh my god, guys. Thank you. I was like looking at the number and I was like, oh, actually kind of shocked. So thank you so much for looking at this video. I really, really so appreciate it. And I hope that I can really, really contribute more to the space that I'm in. I hope to see you very soon. If not, you can bother me because I will drop my socials. You can follow me at Brinary with a 1. So BR1NARY. I'll also drop it in the description. It'll also be somewhere on the screen. I've also been leaning forward while sitting on the floor and I'm realizing that my butt hurts a little bit. Thank you. Okay, bye. Also, have I looked okay this whole time, you guys? Ooh. Stay back! Stay back! Stay back! Stay back! More like Steinbeck. Anyway.